Well, we've never had so many requests coming in. I mean, last year we visited some 30,000 families in the Cork region and Cork City and County. It's up, calls for help are up by at least 33% at the moment. Last year we spent €5 million in Cork. I wouldn't be surprised if it reached 6 this year by Christmas.
By Christmas? That's not including is that including the Christmas traditional busy time for you?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes. It is. You see, it's very bad at the moment in Cork, and it's bad in that a lot of self-employed people are coming to us. They're entitled to nothing when their businesses fold up, and I can't understand how the state can leave them floundering on their own, because they are the backbone of this nation. They provide the jobs. They should be entitled to something when things go wrong.
These would have been people, I suppose, during the boom times would have been, I suppose, quite well off by standards now.
Yeah, yes, they would, and paid for everything. I mean, I was talking to a self-employed man, Sunday actually, yesterday, and he was telling me how when his young fellow was going to university, he was refused the grant for university simply because he was self-employed, not because as a result of any inquiry into how wealthy he was, but simply, you're self-employed, you're not entitled to it.
Do a lot of the people you're talking about, have they eaten into their savings an awful lot?
Yeah, they have. They have. People have eaten into their savings. Used their savings, and social welfare are saying, look, you own a house, you have a rent coming in from a house. That's money coming in your assets. You have assets, so we won't help you. You're not entitled to it. The point is, the rent coming in from that house is barely paying the mortgage of that house. Do you understand?
But people, I suppose there are those out there that wouldn't have much sympathy for people who made bad investments in property and the like.
Well, yes, there are, and I can sympathise with that too. But when somebody is hungry, they're hungry.
When you talk about people being hungry, Brendan, I mean, you obviously have hands-on experience of this on a daily basis now, sadly. On the visits that you make, on the calls that you would make for the St Vincent de Paul, are you seeing that genuine hunger now amongst families more often than you have been?
Oh, a lot more often. We have families on our books for the last year or two that we are the only ones putting food on the table for them. We are actually keeping the family afloat. We're paying for the food and we're paying for the electricity. We see that now. People are coming to us now. Like last year, the year before, going back over the years, people might have come to us looking for help with an ESB bill or some such. Now we have families coming to us asking us to feed them, literally to feed them. People are asking for food. You know, it's that stark. To have women coming in here into the office and to be, we talk to them here. We've actually, I've seen ladies here break down, get hysterical, absolutely hysterical, sobbing, spilling out the story to us. We've actually had to put boxes of tissues on the table with the tears. I couldn't even begin to describe it to you.
Brendan, you're talking about 6 million needed
Yes.
Before the end of the year.
Yes.
What happens after that? What happens when the money runs out?
Well, you see, we live on our church door collections. It's the church's money. We simply pass it on. We've always tried to, St Vincent de Paul have always tried to have a year's supply of spending in an account. We never achieved that. We could never get to that figure. We got to about half of it. That money is being that money that's in the piggy bank is being added to our church gate collection to meet the demands at the moment. When that goes, when those savings go, if they go, it means that we'll be living on the church gate collection alone, and we'll have to pare back our spending on that. Listen, you know, why did this happen in Cork? Cork is sort of unique in this position.
It's probably not that unique, because I'd imagine that your colleagues in other parts of the country are suffering similarly.
Well, they wouldn't be suffering quite as similarly as us, because we had the flooding in Cork in 2009,
right.
And it practically broke us here, that did. Trying to keep people, we're still helping people from that flooding. Can you imagine anywhere in the world, anywhere, a city where 141 million euros worth of damage is done overnight, and the government, or the state, I should say, the state appears not to be interested in why and how it happened. There's no inquiry. And we're still helping people who had to go and get loans to make up the difference between what insurance paid out and what they had to pay the builder to put their houses back in order.
If we have another harsh winter, Brendan, that's going to put pressure on as well.
That's if the worst case scenario comes to pass, we're in trouble, because last year we were normally, where we would give one bag of coal to a family for a week, we were giving 2 and 3 bags last year and telling them keep the fire going. I stood in houses last year. I stood in houses and actually saw ice on the inside of the windows. I've seen children being put to bed, 2 and 3 to a bed under the duvet with their clothes on to keep warm. I've seen that happening. And if we get that again, if that kind of a winter comes again, we're in trouble.
All right, Brendan Dempsey, Cork Regional President of the St Vincent de Paul. Thanks for talking to us, Brendan.